The Simpsons Index, an online spreadsheet that is also a podcast. This is the podcast, and here is your host, Elliot J. O'Neill.
All good?
And I'm getting signal on mine, and I'm talking as I normally would.
And I am talking a little bit louder than I normally would, but I'll try to
Eat
keep
the
it.
mic more.
Eat the microphone!
Eat it.
But it's got your socks on it.
They're clean.
I know, it's just it's a line.
We are live for this special miniature episode of The Simpsons Index. Hi, I'm your host, Elliot J. O'Neill, and joining me today is...
My name is Butts, first name Seymour.
And... yeah, we're just doing a little mini episode because I did the math today. I noticed in the classic era there are 203 episodes, in the teens there are 217, and in the HD era, well, at the moment there's 176, but with season 28 coming out, that'll probably change to 198, and then the show will probably go on indefinitely, so who knows? So yeah, we're gonna knock a teen and a 20s episode out today. And just then we watched Season 19, Episode 18, Any Given Sundance. Sorry, Seymour Butts. What'd you think?
I definitely just watched an episode of TV.
Yep.
That's a thing that just happened.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was okay, is what I'm getting at there.
Yeah. So just to recap, I think this one can be synopsized pretty easily. Lisa makes a film and she submits it to Sundance.
Yeah, well, Charmskin.
By Charmskin Productions.
Yeah, they submit it to Sundance in the hopes of once again raising the school to a higher glory, as they often do. And it gets brought in because she's a vegetarian, intellectual 8-year-old from a backwoods suburb with a crazy family, and that's just indie movie gold. That's indie movie platinum wrapped in indie movie gold.
Oh yeah, it's much better than, what was the one they rejected? Martin Lawrence in a fat suit plays...
Well, most people should reject that.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm bringing it up. That was actually a terrible joke that they did.
It was. It got followed up by one of my favorite jokes from the episode, which is when they're like, she's a vegetarian, 8-year-old, intellect, people, you have to maintain your gas at this altitude. That I liked, but that's one of the few positive notes I have. And I only have a few negative notes as well. So like I said, very...
Yeah, it wasn't a shit on the legacy episode. This is one of those ones where, like, I really like the premise. Like... Yeah. Lisa makes a Sundance film. That's fun.
And it gets to be something intellectual for Lisa to do that isn't strictly intellectual. It's something that's still a bit creative, but also takes a bit of, I suppose, understanding the nuance of film to kind of get through. And I like that, she's once again got something she can do that no one else can do, that makes her special, that also kind of makes her isolated and weird.
Yeah, absolutely. And that she sort of sells her family out, and, she has no qualms doing that because... they've tortured her all these years. She feels like she's just in doing that, but, when she actually hurts their feelings, oh no, she has all the feels.
Has some of the feels, yeah. We had 5 minutes of feels. And the really, what's interesting on this one is Jim Jarmusch cameo. I hope I'm pronouncing that wrong.
James Jarmusch, maybe?
Yeah, I kind of hope I'm pronouncing it wrong, because part of the joke is no one knows who he is.
Yeah.
And I don't know who he is. I know the film Cigarettes and Coffee. I've not seen it.
Coffee and cigarettes.
See? Well, I haven't seen it.
Haven't you?
Don't ruin the ending. Does coffee get with cigarettes?
They always go together. You know that, man. Oh, wait. Neither of us smoke. I thought you would have seen it just for the Jack White and Meg White cameo.
Nope. I haven't seen everything. Just most things.
It's a good movie.
Okay. Well, there you go. But yeah, he's in this episode a fair amount. He's the...
basically lifts off his entire repertoire.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Someone who can laugh at himself. I appreciate that. But it's more that, he's really the emotional anchor, for someone that is there because people don't know who he is a real big turning point. And he does a good job in voice acting, I suppose, but...
Yeah, I don't know. Most of his material was pretty flat, but I did like the moment where... he's showing them a movie, and they've already established he's a filmmaker, and so he keeps and during the movie he keeps doing that thing where he says, "What's that? Oh my god! Don't go in there!" Oh, he did.
Oh my god! Yeah. I used to call those people movie melons because the movie could sculpt them exactly the way they wanted. So the term never quite stuck, but we need a term for that person who like screams at every remotely scary thing and has the big emotional moment. The second two characters look at each other and you're like, they haven't established anything yet.
Yeah. But yeah, those sort of people are just totally in the moment. There's something kind of to envy about.
I know, I'm mildly jealous. I've often thought I'd get more out of life if I wasn't a cynical bastard and actually enjoyed things.
Yeah.
But then who would I be? Anyway.
Speaking of being cynical and reviewing and judging other things.
Ruining shit we love.
Yeah. So the charm skin thing, that was weird.
Yeah.
I like it just for the charm skin. But I like it for few else. Like, I didn't like their little B plot.
Yeah, so that springs up this B plot of Skinner and Chalmers trying to kind of take Sundance, I guess. Like, be bigwigs there. And it's kind of funny, but it also kind of goes... No, I do like the continuity, because this is not the first time we've seen Chalmskin show up. Or is it? And it shows up later.
I think it might be the first time we see it show up, but it's referenced later.
Yeah, and I always enjoy little continuity things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get nothing out of it. This isn't your classic, steamed hams.
No.
Kind of Skinner and Chalmers. It's just kind of there. I think someone has said before, later episodes really overrate the B characters, and this is kind of one of those things where they riff really well when they riff well, but this is just kind of it's fine, I guess.
Maybe it's just that there's too much of them together. Like, usually those moments that we love, Skinner and Chalmers it's only a bit in an otherwise episode that has nothing to do with them. Like,
Chalmers breezes in, goes Skinner!
Yeah.
And then leaves. And sometimes he has a naked Grease Scotsman land on top of him. And other times something else happens, like a tractor runs into his butt.
Yep.
But then that's it. It's a kind of in and out. And this is, trying to make him a feature, that relation gets boring.
Yeah. And actually, having said that, I'm looking forward to when we eventually get round to reviewing Bart Stops and Smells the Roosevelts, the episode where Chalmers takes Bart and some of the bullies under his wing and teaches them all about Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh.
It's actually a really good episode.
Okay. I'm now also looking forward to that. I have a vague recollection I've seen it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's definitely a 20s one. But anyway, what else about the start of the episode?
When they
the tailgating party.
Yep.
You know what? That was fine enough, and it was like a fair enough start to get Lisa into filming.
Yep.
But I thought they handled Lisa deciding to start filming this a little clunkily.
It's a little clunky, but it's also one of the quicker transitions from wackiness into the beginning of the story, because some of the worst ones we've seen are the ones that take 10 minutes of just random weird jokes to finally get around to their point. And it's like, okay, now we're here. Fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit down. That was a long walk.
Yeah, and even though it can have different set pieces of Springfield and Sundance, it's still being about the one thing where, what we don't like is the episodes being about too many things and feeling unfocused and sort of announcing plot points. This one didn't do that as much.
No, and I did enjoy Homer's love of tailgating in car parks.
Yeah.
And stealing food from people. Sorry, when you know the person, it's called mooching.
Yep.
Which is a good line. I like that one.
How's Mormon bit went on a bit too long.
Yeah, but other than that, it's fun while it lasts.
Yeah.
And it's okay, and then you get rolling. Let's see.
I like the whole, Springfield University versus Springfield A&U, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Being the thing that Lisa was filming, because that was, showing Springfield as we know as a town as, predictable. They start fighting in amongst themselves.
Of course.
Petty squabbles. So, yeah, that was all good. Again, it's just kind of a flat episode.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure my ups equal my downs in this one. So on downs, Homer has this really... Okay, he hears the word film festival, and he has a weird daydream about, a mariachi band, like a Mexican festival, but they're all film strips, and then DVDs show up, and they're like, ay, caramba, DVDs with bonus features! And it's like, that was bad. The interns write that one. It was just...
No, the
really.
intern that got fired from Family Guy wrote that. That was like bad.
It was a
by Family
very
Guy
weird,
standards.
and similar to Family Guy is when they first find Jim Jarmusch or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He goes, "Well, I can eat a whole raw onion." He's like, "Okay, prove it."
Yeah.
It's like, why are you suddenly eating a raw onion? This is not even a bit. I'm
Who do you think you are, Tony Abbott?
Australia, you know what we're talking about.
Yep.
But on the plus side, and I enjoy that when Marge wears the fancy version of her dress, it just has sleeves,
Yeah.
and it's a little bit showing a bit more cleavage. That's fancy version of Marge.
Yeah.
Top down a little bit, sleeves.
Yeah. And so when they get to Sundance and Marge is like going around and seeing all the movies that
Yeah.
I liked it, but I didn't think it was quick enough. I thought it was a bit too slow.
Yeah. So she walks into a movie labeled Candyland, and going, "Oh, this will be adorable." It's about heroin and
Yeah.
Yeah,
I liked the junkie in that movie who tied up his arm with his own hair.
that I didn't even see that. It's a good little quick joke. Yeah.
Yeah, good little animation bit. Yeah. And then like the actual documentary of the Simpsons themselves, not bad. They're playing snakes and ladders, and Homer gets frustrated, and then Marge goes, "Oh my god, we've only played one round so far."
Yeah.
It's
You're like, yeah.
But then they had a really good bit, and I'm struggling to remember what it was.
Let's see. There was then Bart breaking plates, and then Homer walking in.
I did laugh a lot at that.
You did. I figured that's what it was.
It was a bit hacky delivered, where like Bart was breaking plates, Homer walks in and goes, "But what if I wasn't wearing any shoes?" And he goes, "You are," and zoom out. Like that was some good editing from Lisa.
And I do like that then Marge just starts sweeping up quietly.
Happy birthday, Marge.
Yeah, Homer's choking Bart, and it's like, yep, that's kind of the show, but from a different angle, and now I'm kind of sad.
Yeah, so I'm trying to find where I draw the line with Homer strangling Bart, and I don't draw it here. Like, Bart was doing something bad, Homer seriously injured himself, takes it out on his kid, you know, and it was funny. I don't know.
But there are definitely some choking gags. You're like, no, thank you. The only one that really springs to mind is when they do the Artificial Intelligence Halloween horror. And he's like, I know a guy who likes to strangle his kid. And he's like, well, the windpipe is surprisingly responsive. It's like, I like the I'm a father who likes to strangle his kid line, but then to go the whole, they're showing like the tactileness of the throat, and it's like, that's just odd now.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a connoisseur of strangling kids.
Man, it is really hard to know where to draw the line on the jokes.
It's
watching these bad episodes is sort of giving a little bit of a hint.
Yeah, maybe we'll figure it out by the end. We'll have the formula. This is how you joke about strangling children. This is how you don't joke about strangling children.
And this is how long you can strangle children before.
We could release a PSA once we kind of figure it out.
The funny guide to strangling children.
Hey parents, you ever want to strangle your kids? We know you do. Shh, our secret. But here's how you do it so it's funny.
Yep.
Question now? Because I'm out of shit to say.
Yeah.
It's that kind of episode. I'm actually impressed we got that much. So it's fine.
All right. So yeah, storyline, sort of A line throughout.
A little bit of the B charm skin.
Yeah, B charm skin, which it's a word like vajunt, where it sounds like it should be really dirty.
Yeah,
but it's not a word yet.
No. I do want to change your ringtone to just charm skin. But I'll never hear it.
Yeah.
It's too quiet.
So, have you seen this episode at all?
I have. I think it might have been one of the Taco Night episodes. Or maybe when we were just hanging around. I remember being mildly amused.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I distinctly associate this with the year we were at Castle Hill and had Foxtel, because then I caught up on a lot of season 16, 17, 18, 19, which I hadn't seen a lot of. So I think I might have seen this 3 times, maybe.
I'm pretty sure I'm on once before.
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain of that.
Yeah. So yeah, I haven't revisited it that often.
Well, that's the thing. There's not really anything to revisit, unless, to Jim Jarmusch's credit, he does have a pretty good, nice voice.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to revisit his voice, this is one to check out. If you ever want to hear
and you know, John C. Reilly.
Yeah, but he's there for like it may as well not have even been him. It's so
Yeah.
pointless. It's just a little bit right at the end, and they kind of, it's dumb. I was about to say the weirdest part is during the credit sequence, they cut to Skinner and Chalmers in the editing room going, and that's another hit, and they clink champagne glasses, and Skinner breaks Chalmers, and he goes, Skinner, why can't you be a gentle clinker? End episode. It's like,
What was that?
it's not a good joke. Why even bother with that bit?
It
such
seems like a joke that they would have had, like, in the 40s that would have just been met with uproarious applause. But...
even in the episode when maybe they're editing part of the film, and that would be fine. But I mentioned it specifically because it's such a bad joke to end on, such an average episode, that it makes me think less of it. Like, it drops at an extra point just that last second.
Well, yeah, and because it was doubled down on the John C. Reilly bit, which was another weird Charmskin offshoot where, John C. Reilly's really trying to get into one of their movies now because they're the producers of the Lisa story and the Nelson Muntz. Actually, that's the other thing. I really liked the Nelson Muntz bits.
Actually, yes, that was very tragically sad and beautiful because Nelson also makes a movie of his sad life with his drunk mother, and it's human. It hurts, man.
Yeah, I thought it mixed the good parts of the emotion of the character with the joke telling, like with Barney's short film back in that episode, which I think still lends to the theory that Nelson is Barney's kid. I don't care what that other episode said. I think Barney is Nelson's father.
Well, we do know Barney once heavily donated to a sperm bank.
Yeah.
So, and Nelson's his father often, walks out on his mother a lot.
Yeah.
Makes sense that in her loneliness, she saw a child and raised Barney's kid and just never mentioned it to Nelson's dad.
Because it makes more sense than the one the Simpsons actually went with, where Nelson's dad went out to buy some cigarettes, got covered with peanuts and went into an anaphylactic shock, but was kept in a persistent anaphylactic shock so he could work the freak show circuit.
And then Bart just conveniently finds him.
Yep.
I remember that bit. That bit's dumb.
That's bad writing. That's a bad writer.
Yeah, let's stick with the Barney thing. That's much better.
Totally. Do you see yourself watching this episode again?
If I'm on a plane and I can't sleep and I've watched every other episode of The Simpsons they have and they don't have 30 Rock or Futurama and there's no movies and I really want to hear Jim Jarmusch's voice. That would be the only scenario I can think of where I would particularly... Again, it's not bad, but there's no reason to go after it.
No, not really, because even like the story ground, it's sort of treading familiar territory where Lisa sells out her family.
Yeah, we've done film festivals before.
Yeah. And I guess the only thing that hasn't been done before is Chalmers and Skinner all of a sudden becoming producers.
Yeah, so there's your one upshot, and that had some of the worst jokes.
Yeah. I didn't mind the, the party that they went to was called, like, Hobo Chili something, because that's very, like, hipster sort of Sundance thing that you'd see.
Yeah. No, that bit, there were good parts, but it didn't carry enough for me to... It's not worth watching for your B story, basically. Yeah.
Well, even then, that hobo scene, whatever, that would have just been a funny still, but they brought some material out of there and it wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about the wackiness.
Pretty much none.
No.
I think Homer stealing food is the wackiest part.
Yep. Yeah, him diving through the air to get a steak.
Yeah, and even then, we've seen way wackier than that.
Yeah, Jim Jarmusch eats an onion and cries, so that makes sense.
Yeah, that's actually completely logical. That's the opposite of wacky.
Yeah.
He does claim to be crying about something else, but no, he's crying about the onion.
Talk about the heart of this episode.
Again, we've been here before.
Yeah.
With Lisa not feeling like, or rather exposing her family and then feeling bad. She's made them feel bad, and I do like we go a slightly different way of rather than apologizing and all that. She's got more of they'll get over it. This is life, and this is how they are, and the people will find something else to gawk at, and Jim Jarmusch out.
Yeah. But even then, like, the forgiveness scene wasn't like that. I don't know. It was just so flat. It was lacking.
Yeah. So yeah, not a lot in the thumps either. So.
No. Integrity wise, did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
Because I'm thinking of something Shayna talks about where Homer is being just dumb. Like not like the early Homer, where he's still dumb, but he's not like the dumb. He's a different kind of dumb. Again, that's another nuanced thing we'll have to come up with a PSA about to explain to people.
Yeah, you do bring up a good point. The Homer jokes in this were just, I don't know, him not knowing how to count was the level of stupid they were.
Yeah, that kind of thing. I mean, I like the one where he's trying to pull a pickle out of a jar the wrong way, so it's not coming. But the other ones are way more. Only a complete and absolute moron would do this, and well, of course he does. You know, it's just not funny.
Yeah,
it's kind of just depressing.
Yeah, it really was. So, I mean, integrity-wise, I think the only characters that were off point were Skinner's and Chalmers.
Yeah, more of a hyper-exaggeration of themselves.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Any other quotable moments? I think we're good.
Yeah, I really can't think of any. Yeah, limit your gasp at this altitude was really the only one that I thought stuck out. And then I had another one I've forgotten, but I know I've already said it, so...
Yeah, look...
if you know them, it's mooching.
Yeah.
I like that. That's fun. But to me, that's not quite on par, but it belongs in the same book as weaseling out of things is important to learn. It's what separates us from the animals. Except the weasel.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to build up just like a big book of quotes, good quotes, and otherwise, not so great Simpsons episode. Like, the other season 19 episode I watched, Little Big Girl. It's got one of my favorite lines of all time. Where Bart's driving, Lisa's in the passenger seat, and she says to him, "Your hands are meant to be at 10 and 2, not 3 and nothing."
Yeah, no, I remember that one.
Yeah, this one, like, that mooching line could be very well in that book of...
That would belong there.
Yeah. Maybe we could, like, build a good Simpsons episode out of, like...
Out of all the fragments?
Yeah. Just do a supercut. But who has the time to edit anything?
Not me.
Let's rank this thing. Go for it, Pete.
I feel like we're on the same page here and we're both a participant.
Yep.
It's easiest.
It's so participant. It's very indicative. We're not screaming in rage and pulling our hair out. We're just bored by this episode.
No, but it's okay. It's all fine. Yeah, there's nothing offensive. There's nothing good. I got a couple little chuckles, but yeah, no proper laughs. And
yeah.
The highlight is a whispered title.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's call it there. Now, the next episode I've chucked on for us tonight is... I actually don't remember which one I went with in the end.
Cool. Mystery episode. Yes.
That's from season 25. I know that much. All right. Let's get into it.
All right. Another beer?
Please. We are back, and we just watched season 25, episode 12, simply titled Diggs, starring Harry Potter as Daniel Radcliffe as Diggs. And
Harry Potter as Daniel Radcliffe as Diggs.
Yeah, okay. That's how it works.
Okay,
right?
Yeah, that's how life works.
He was born in the movie.
Yep.
And
became real.
He became a real boy.
Like Pinocchio. And so, yeah, wow, that's a different narrative.
Do you remember that episode where the Simpsons are doing a jigsaw puzzle and Lenny and Carl come in and they're like, "Oh, where's Homer?" And Bart and Lisa were like, "Oh, we're doing a jigsaw together." And Lenny goes, "Guess they're done with all the fun stuff."
No, I did not, but I'll take your advice. Yeah, I'll take your word on that one.
I am reminded of that when I see Bart has an interest in falconry.
Yeah. So to summarize this one is... best we can, Bart gets an interest in falconry and gets a friend who ends up being maybe a little mentally unbalanced, and then it's over.
Yep.
How did he get to falconry again? I'm trying to remember.
I'll pull up Wikipedia.
Oh, yeah. No. Okay. but uncharacteristically feels bad for about a kid from a different country he hears about in church, and
Yeah.
so begs Homer for $20 to get put in the collection plate, and then owes Homer money, and then to try and make money, he tries to eat things for kids to give him cash on the playground, then he eats a dead frog, then no one's
Yep.
going to talk to him because he ate a dead frog, and then he meets a strange new kid. Wow.
And much like the episode we just watched with a Sundance parody, South Park did this one first and did this one better, where they had Kenny just eating everything he could.
Well, there was always that one kid at school who would just eat stuff. Sometimes for money, sometimes,
Yeah.
just to be his friend.
Yeah. Shit, that might have been me.
Never ate a dead frog.
No. What about the couch gag at the start?
Oh,
that
yeah,
big,
yeah.
weird, overlong French animation.
Yeah. It's just, it was really long. Like, I thought it was going to, okay, I guess the lights go out, Marge gets up, she turns the lights back on, and when they come back on, they've got that kind of French animation style. I don't know what you call it, so let's call it French animation style.
Yeah.
And I thought the joke was going to be, okay, then the lights go off again, that comes up, and they're going to be a different animation style, and yada, yada, yada. But no, it just sticks to this one French style the whole time, and Homer's eating snails, and Bart tries stuffing a goose, and Maggie's disappeared, and it ends up, it's
Marge
actually...
is just wandering around going, Maggie, in a bad French accent.
Yeah, and it's a good, like, minute, 2 minutes. It's long.
Hey, it looks great, but the
Yeah,
punchline is, oh my god, Maggie was stuck up Homer's butt.
Yeah. I guess they just got a chance to, have a cameo, and they knew they had a very light episode ahead.
Yeah.
Needed some time.
I've got to say, for a really long couch gag, this episode did not feel short by any means. It felt so long.
Yeah, well, it's just a lot of nothing happens for a while. And to its credit, I really thought it was going somewhere else for a little bit. Like, I thought,
Yeah?
okay, they're going to have, like, maybe a message about mental health or about
Yeah, right.
depression or something like that when, Bart's new friend is up on a tree and thinks for a moment that he can actually fly and jumps down and gets hurt. You think, okay, that's going to be kind of the sentimental heart of this. It's a very different direction for The Simpsons, but sure, let's take a different direction. We're in season 25, why not have this little message about it? Fine, whatever. But it hinted at it, and it kind of leaned towards it's okay to have friends or okay to be a bit different, or have friends that are a bit different, and people have troubles you can't solve quickly, but it doesn't really do anything with that. It's like in the same room as it, but they don't make eye contact.
No, and they do have the thing where he escapes or he gets a day pass or whatever and he comes to the falconry thing, but I don't know, there weren't any like emotional stakes behind him getting out, and like
No.
there wasn't like Bart like defending him against the adults. That might have been a good storyline to
Yeah,
go
that
with.
would have been.
But no, he gets out on a day pass. He's very okay to do that, and he goes to the falconry club to do one last thing, and then he lets all the falcons free, and then that's the end.
Yep, done. And
Yeah.
okay, I just watched 23 minutes of a show. That's definitely a thing that just happened.
Yep. I really thought the Homer montage at the start went on too long.
Yeah, when he's
And I thought they could have saved it. They could have saved it if when, comes time, Bart's in the hospital, Homer gets presented with the bill, and Dr. Hibbert starts going, where's my money? Where's my money?
Yep.
Like, I was hoping that would jump into just like a 3-scene montage of Dr. Hibbert
yeah,
bugging
they're
Homer.
doing the same thing, but it doesn't.
No, I don't know. I'm not saying it's worse because it didn't. It might have been worse if it did, but I just, instinct says rewrite that bit, and
Yeah,
that
little
might have
little
made it
red
funny.
pen around that bit. Throwback jokes are fun.
Yep. So yeah, this featured Daniel Radcliffe as well, doing a fine American accent.
Which is kind of weird. You got a voice cameo. Why then hide your voice?
Yeah. I mean, he might have even sounded a bit more psychotic if he was British.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
They have such lovely psychopaths.
Such lovely psychopaths indeed. Mum.
Look, let's not turn this into the wacky accent half hour. Like, there's a really weird line I actually have written down where they let the Falcon go, and Ralph walks up next to
Yeah.
Diggs, and Bart goes, "There's my sky, Grandma." You're like, was this like the punchline to a joke that was cut? That makes literally no sense.
There was like a bit of awkward animation there, so I wouldn't be surprised. There were actually a couple of animation errors in this, like just like little pissy little, he struck a xylophone, in the same place and it produced two different tones. This sort of shit. But
Yeah.
I don't know, with a HD era episode, you'd think there'd be a bit more attention to detail in the animation, but no, like when they cut to the wide of the inside of the bus, there were like the kids had jumped around seats.
Yeah,
and,
stuff like that.
yeah,
Just while I think of it, I think the best line in this is when Dr. Hibbert goes, Bart, another doctor needs to talk to this boy. And Bart goes, there's another doctor at this hospital?
yeah. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that I was on board with.
I actually, I guess looking back on it, I didn't mind the episode up until we met Diggs. Like, I don't mind the story of Bart becoming that boy and being ostracized.
Because again, it's a thing that happened, if not to you, then to someone else. There was eating weird shit on the playground was a thing. And this is him taking it a little too far and getting isolated. So instead of being praised for being the bad boy, he's now... Sorry, instead of being praised for being the odd one out, he's now isolated.
Yeah. And yeah, you're right, he did go too far. It was one thing to eat eyeglass wax or something. I don't know. Millhouse produced something weird. I did remember thinking it was funny though. And Bart eats all that stuff, but the dead frog, no.
Nope.
Now
Not
you're
even.
that kid.
Not even for $20.
And that would have been fine. And I thought the first act was fine up until that point. So they could have done and then Bart gets ostracized story.
Yeah.
But they went down this falconry thing, and I don't know.
Yeah, it felt like it either needed to be funnier and ignore the whole Diggs is actually kind of crazy storyline, or turn harder into the Diggs is crazy and have kind of a sentimentality behind it. Because at the point at where it is, we're just stuck between the two. There's no good jokes. There's not. Or you get the hint of there having heart, but you don't really get a lot of heart out of it, and you're just kind of left wanting anything, really. It's just kind of...
Yeah, and the falconry gags weren't that good. When the Falcon comes to the Simpsons house, you're like, oh, the Falcon's with the Simpsons now, and no, nothing really comes off it. There's the gag where the Falcon's massaging Grandpa's head, and Grandpa says, oh, you Korean girls know how to treat a soldier or massage a soldier. And
no, you're what?
With talons?
On your forehead. This is what... Okay, whatever.
Actually, speaking of talons, we both laughed at Mr. Burns getting his talons sharpened.
That was good. Yeah. Mr. Burns is always good.
You try and find the gold nuggets in these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Build up the supercut.
Bart introduces himself to Diggs as, hi, I'm the kid who ate a frog, and Diggs goes, oh, so you're why I have to dissect a Muppet in class today.
I did like that line.
Yeah. Also, when all the kids are coming off the bus, they all shoulder bump Bart, but increasingly hard.
Yeah, and then Janie fucking smacks him across the head with the lunchbox.
Yep, that bit's fun.
And if we know anything about Janie's mom, then, yeah.
As we learn, Janie's mom... will do anything for roofie tickets. Anything. She'd eat a dead frog, if you know what I mean.
Oh my god, so that's why she was smacking Bart extra hard. You remind me of my mom.
Wow. Wow.
We're blowing this thing wide open.
Yeah. Between the Barney conspiracy and the Janie's mom is a whore.
Yep.
For eating frogs.
Yep. So you're right about the whole mental hospital thing. They didn't lean hard enough into it with the jokes or the story, and it didn't have emotional stakes behind it, which I thought was crap. I thought if it was really Bart having to defend his relationship with Diggs to his parents, and Homer and Marge being concerned for him and saying, no, you can't see this boy, we're doing this to protect him, and then he breaks out, and I don't know, there could have been better places. This is not even a first draft.
No, this is the napkin you write the idea down on, and that's what we got for a final script somehow. This
was a drunk napkin that they wrote. A fucking Falcon.
Well, yeah, someone was drunk and feeling a little bit man, we got to write something real, something real. Let's get real about this, man.
Or it's ultra corporate-y marketing team worked out the one demographic that the Simpsons haven't hit
Falconry.
yet. People who are into falconry.
I'll have you know they've had falconry before when Bart was stuck down the well. So Xerxes here will grip the boy in his talons and pull him to safety. I don't think he's coming back.
Oh my god, they have done falconry before.
So yeah, falconry covered.
Oh, okay, so I want to just bring this up. Turns out comic book guys into falconry as well, and Bart says a line about that. I don't know.
Yeah, you would be into the only sport where where something brings you food or something like that.
Yeah. And then the bird picks on comic book guy and he's all like, fatso, pees in the shower. And I'm like...
Okay, first of all, everyone pees in the shower. Sorry, continue.
No, that's my point.
Okay. Well, there you go, just to prove it.
Like, it's good for the environment. We're not wasting water. You know, kill two birds with one stone.
To quote George Costanza, it's all pipes.
So yes, the Simpsons Index officially endorses peeing in the shower.
We do.
And, like, just seriously, grow up. If you think it's a bad thing, just grow up.
If you think it's bad, just don't aim at your own feet. And if you haven't hit your phone, you're in the shower already.
No.
A lot of places that could go, very few of them up.
I did think about halfway through that, you know, it's the episodes like this that I actually should be taking more notes because everything just falls so flat that nothing really sticks in your brain. And
yeah, it's just... I mean, I made a lot of notes, but none of them really stand out to me as being anything really worth talking about. There's a bit where Lisa offers Bart a hug, and he's like... I like how Pace is thinking about it for a little bit, and then he's like, okay, you hug the bedpost, then I hug the bedpost. We don't directly hug.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not bad. It's not a bad line. I'm sure you've hugged before. Actually, I know you have. You've definitely hugged when you were at the end of the hockey episode. So
yeah, and like, but it was a good bit of animation where they actually did do that, and then they looked at each other, and you know, Bart was obviously really comforted by that, and so it was a good way for, and you know, that's well within Bart's character to think, oh, sister's gross.
It was kind of the only thing within Bart's character on this one. You know, just the reason to owe Homer money being that he gave money to the church.
Yeah.
Like, there are a lot of ways he could owe Homer $20, and that's probably the lamest one they could think of.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, was there anything in that church scene worth mentioning? There was the Indonesian priest, and then Reverend Lovejoy. Oh my god, he comes from such a terrible country, and he's like, hey.
And then that doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
The only thing coming from that is he's a very naughty boy, and when sometimes he says, no tiger, when there is tiger.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only line I like.
Because, yeah, it's the opposite of boy who cries wolf as well.
Boy who cries, no wolf.
Yeah, that was a good bit.
Yeah, but that's like the only thing. And you could have made this anything else. There are plenty of ways Bart could earn money.
Yeah, that's right. Bone Storm, God.
Yeah, that was fine.
New Krusty doll.
Yeah, new Krusty doll. Breaks a wheel on his skateboard, goes flying into a wedding cake, and for some reason that only costs $20.
Yep.
I don't know. That's spitballing. That was fine. It was acceptable. It would get you where you need. Bart wants a comic book where you finally get to see Radioactive's guy's butt, but it costs $20.
Yep. There we go.
That's fine.
Barto's Millhouse money for chocolate bar.
Again, you can build on that.
It's more in character than the whole church.
Yeah, it's just that's my point. It's what was it? Just cheap to do it in the church? Oh, it doesn't make sense. It's animation. It'd be the cost the same either way. I don't know. I don't get it.
Maybe they came up with that. The boy lies about the tiger thing,
and they just loved it so much they couldn't kill their darling.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I did like that bit. So
yeah, we'll put that in the cut of good parts from bad episodes. So yeah, storyline A throughout.
Yeah, 0B.
Yep. I've seen this once. I'm aware of, and that's it.
Yeah. Maybe. I was half. We'll say I've not seen it before, just because if I have seen it, I was only half paying attention.
Yeah, totally. Like, it doesn't really warrant your attention either. Like, I think it actively tries to make you lose it.
Yeah, kind of. It's just... Like I said, it seems to get so close to doing something else and doing something interesting and then just doesn't.
Yeah.
Doesn't do something different, it just doesn't do that thing it was walking towards. It's like it got up to the door, reached for the handle, and then just kind of took its hand back and sat down on the stoop and peed itself.
And then sent itself back to the mental asylum.
Pretty much.
Actually, just before, the bit with the bullies as well, I fucking hate the bullies now. Like, they haven't been funny, like, since about season 10 or something.
Yeah, they don't get a lot anymore.
Yeah, and, like, I think half their problem is, like, because their characters are so, like, prototypical 90s bullies that were, you know, saying, oh, you're gay and all that sort of stuff, like...
Yeah, dude, your hand is touching mine!
Yeah, this one where, Diggs has been sent to the asylum, they're making fun of Bart, and Bart's like, yeah, it sucked, and then Dolph spits out a shit line, and then Jimbo's like, oh, man, making fun of the mentally handicapped. And...
Yeah, and it just doesn't land at all.
And then Dolph goes, oh, then they turn it back around on Dolph. Anyway, it wasn't a good joke. Sorry.
It really wasn't. No, you're working with very bland material here.
Yeah, that's it. Like, when there's a very horrible episode, there's specific things you can point to and saying, you know, that's out of character, they'd never do that, or that's an inconsistency or something. But this one, I guess it doesn't fundamentally do much. It doesn't do the worst things in the world.
No, it just doesn't do much of any things in the world.
No.
Yeah, it's like I can't even think of a metaphor. My brain's just kind of sleepy now. I'm in shifted down a gear.
Yeah.
So...
I don't like the way the Falcon's circling the cat. There we go. I liked that joke.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
No, I'm just getting stuck on my metaphor of it's like someone sat you down and then like pulled out all these torture devices and stared at you intently and then just gone, all right, you can leave. It's like, oh, we're done? Yeah. Oh, okay, bye.
Now, what should I use first? How about the door handle?
Like, this could have been so much worse. Yeah, I know. Later. Oh, cool.
And my family, they're free.
Yeah, free. Yeah, I didn't even catch. I don't know who told you that. Wasn't me. So, later. Close the door behind you, please. And, yeah, if you're ever in the area.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, this could have been much worse. It was just, nothing happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's hoping they don't bring Radcliffe back.
Yeah, well, they're bringing him back for something else, maybe, but,
yeah.
let him be English this time. No one will know he's been on twice.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't have any memories of this back in the day because I was watching it and I had to keep reminding myself I have seen this before. I've often referenced the whole, yeah, they recently did falconry. Oh my god.
Falconry? What?
That's where the Simpsons are at these days.
You know what? I'm actually slightly pissed now they don't feature the guy from the Bart's Well episode.
That
Xerxes.
would have been a nice throwback.
That really would have been one. Yeah.
Imagine if he was the club president.
That would have been amazing.
And Diggs was the student. Because that's the other thing. They've got no authority in the falconry thing. So maybe if... Yeah, that whole I don't think he's coming back guy was like a real bastard in the episode. And
still hurt after Xerxes left him forever. He never came back.
God damn it, Simpsons. Listen to your podcasts that criticize you. So yeah, I think I've seen this once max. Do you see yourself watching this episode again? I don't.
If I'm on a plane and I can't sleep and all the other Simpsons I've watched and Futurama and 30 Rock aren't on there and someone's giving me $1 to watch this episode and I really need $1 because I have 3 and I really want a Coke, but Coke's a 4.
And the F-Pos is broken.
And my lap's on fire and only Coke can extinguish it.
I'd still eat the frog.
Yeah, no, I'm still thinking maybe I wouldn't. I mean, it's like, it's only fire. I mean, I really can't imagine why I would.
No, I you know what? I'd sooner sit down and do a hate watch of Batman versus Superman.
I would enjoy that, actually. Hate watching.
Yeah.
So, yeah, at least that would be something there to get the blood flowing, remind you're alive. Hatred is good for that.
Yeah.
Whereas this is just...
It is a sleeping pill, at least. God, there's your excuse for watching it on the airplane. It's a fucking sleeping pill.
Yeah, maybe I'll go to sleep. Okay, I have a reason now. Cool. Yeah, in that exact situation where I'm a little bit on fire, but not too much on fire, that's a problem. And I'm still sleepy.
Yeah.
This one would do it.
All right. So wacky-wise, I don't think it was too wacky. It was...
I can't think of a single whack. So...
It was, like, it's bizarre.
It's
like
odd
that,
in terms of a narrative for The Simpsons, yeah.
Yeah, they haven't been down that road yet, and...
Yeah. I feel like someone just went to a medieval fair and saw a falcon for the first time, was like, guys,
Really?
episode.
Yeah.
Falconry is badass, which it is, to be fair, when you see it live. But,
Oh, absolutely.
but on Simpsons, no, it's not.
Even the bits with Bart eating all the stuff, like you said, that's grounded in a thing that happens in school.
So yeah, I like it from that. Yeah, it's not wacky at all.
Yep. All right, so getting in the home stretch, how about the heart? No.
Again, it gets so close to having one, and then it just doesn't. Like, it could have really pulled a lot of interesting directions on, friends with problems you can't fix, and depression and mental illness. It could have been a real, heartwarmer, or at least kind of a PSA kind of ad.
Yeah.
But,
and I did like Lisa's whole stance in it all, when she went to Bart, there aren't any easy answers with these things. And she goes, how do you know? Do you have any friends like this? And she's like, yeah, I've got like 8. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. She would.
Yeah.
That's the most heart you get. I think that scene with Lisa and Bart is the most heart you get out of this episode. And it's a good scene, all up, but it's maybe, like 10 minutes before the end of the episode, and then everything else just happens. And then the episode ends.
Yeah, and then Milhouse coming back didn't feel good either.
No. I forgot that happened.
Yeah, and he goes, when I was pushing you, I was really pushing away the part of me that didn't want you to leave. And then they double down on its badness by Bart going, how long did that take you to think up? And he goes, 2 hours with a therapist. Ugh.
Yep.
Oh, and then the extra beat at the end.
I was about to say,
yeah.
Where they're like, that Marge is cooked to what looks like some kind of bird, and he's like, you didn't cook the falcon. No, this is just duck. Oh, and everyone's like, we're fine eating duck, but it's wrong to eat a falcon. It's like, yeah, duck is delicious.
Mm-hmm. I'd eat more falcon, but I haven't tasted it
yet.
yet.
Probably hard to catch. And, pointy.
Yeah.
So,
at least it's its own toothpick.
Oh, damn.
Tasty Talon toothpicks.
But again, much like the last one, it's like they put in this extra joke, and it's bad and boring.
But the beat ended as well with Lisa going, can someone pass the peas? That was just such a wop moment for me, and I'm like, that's how you're going out on the episode?
Yeah. And in both instances, like, really? This is where we're leaving it, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
It's, just hard to imagine that they went to the effort to animate this. Did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
No. Like, again, story-wise, it's very different. And I don't mind that, but it doesn't feel like Simpsons. And,
no. Actually, the other bit, the music montage, where the film sort of changed.
Which bit? I'm forgetting.
It's like when Bart and Diggs are first getting into falconry together. And
okay.
There's a little song, and the filming sort of changes to that really gritty, scratched up film look.
Yeah.
And it tours the town with the falcon. Doing all.
And they kind of, it looks a little bit like shaky cam.
Yeah.
From like the Falcon Point perspective.
Pause on Disco Stew for way too long and have him do a disco dance.
Yeah. Which we know from How I Spent My Summer Vacation, he's tired of being a one-note guy.
That's right. And again, another B character that's just way too overvalued. But the thing that I really didn't like about that bit, which was, like, I like when they go for those alternate looks, like when they did the family footage thing where Homer's washing the car and then Marge sprays him with the hose back in the early days, remember that?
Yeah, and they're playing the theme from...
Wonder Years, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a good
Yeah,
change up.
it's those like sort of alt bits of animation that I like, and even like the couch gag, to its credit, it at least looked good animation wise, but
Yeah,
there
it just
wasn't
went on
good
too
material.
long.
Yeah, went on too long. Not enough good material from it. Yeah, doubling down on bland.
Yeah, never double down on bland. You're just
Yeah.
going to get more bland. Bland doesn't get better if you add more.
All right, so let's finish off this mini episode tonight. Where are you ranking this thing?
This one's a little tougher. I am close to Participhalia.
Yeah.
It's just... I don't think it's quite... It's not offensive, so I'm probably going to keep it out of the failure range. It's just so nothing, and
Yeah.
could have gone other places, but so it's tough. I'm going to give it a low participant, though.
Just know that it was low.
Hello.
Yeah, it didn't hurt me enough to fail it. It really didn't.
Yeah, it's just that there's not enough heart and there's not enough jokes, so you've got really nothing to go with.
Yeah. And I don't know, with the feel like it didn't feel like an episode of The Simpsons, but integrity-wise, I don't think anyone was too off.
I still feel Bart was a little too off point. Like, okay, fine, he gets a new friend and gets a new hobby and that, but again, how we started this with him feeling overwhelmed with guilt at church.
Yeah.
You know, he's the one who made them sing Inagata Davida for 17 minutes.
That's right.
Yeah. It's like, this is not something he's worried about. Since when has he cared about that kind of...
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I'm still only going to participate it.
Yeah, hey,
because-
we're both participating.
Yeah, it's not a trash heap, dumpster fire of fucking badness and ill feelings.
Yeah.
It's just not trying very hard.
No, it's not, I don't know, bike helmet full of scorpions. It's not that.
Wow.
It's not
something that looks safe and but is actually very scorpion-y.
way too scorpion. Yeah, it's not Ugg boots full of barbed wire and salt.
Oh my god. That is like the metaphor for The Simpsons, because it looks like that comforting thing that you love.
But then you slip it on and I've made a terrible mistake.
Yeah. We should have just sent off The Simpsons in season 9 like they sent off Xerxes and just... I
don't think something back.
Well, alternate timelines. Anyway, that has been it for this miniature episode of The Simpsons Index. BT, thank you for joining me, me joining you this evening.
Yes, you're in my house.
And now I am going to sleep because that episode, both of them, put me in the mood for
Yeah,
sleep.
this was a bad pairing.
Yeah, like a double participant. Like,
Yep.
Well, that has been The Simpsons Index. Not tapping out.
Thank you for checking out the Simpsons Index podcast. Don't forget to go to www.thesimpsonsindex.com for the spreadsheet and information about upcoming episodes.
Charmskin.
Chalmskin.
Yeah.
Is really the highlight is a whispered title.